Olá, hoje o Jornal da Câmara apresenta um dos destaques do Congresso Internacional de Trânsito. O evento foi promovido pelo Detran-RS sob o tema Ideias que Salvam Vidas. E é justamente uma dessas ideias que nós vamos apresentar agora. Entre os dias 17 e 19 de julho, o Congresso reuniu experiências de sucesso para reduzir a violência no trânsito. Os exemplos vieram de diversos países, mas a iniciativa da Austrália é considerada uma das mais efetivas. Na palestra de encerramento do evento, Janet Dorr, diretora executiva da Comissão de Acidentes de Transporte no estado de Victoria, apresentou o projeto aplicado há mais de 20 anos. Desde 1989, o país conseguiu reduzir as mortes no trânsito a partir de uma campanha educativa. In over 20 years, the campaigns for road safety have helped to substantially downsize the number of deaths. How many years do you think it takes to create a consciousness towards safety?
I think you can make an immediate impact on consciousness, but it's continuing to reinforce the message and make sure people change their behaviour and stick to the good behaviour. So you can get a good, quick result, but you need to keep at it.
A campanha australiana acumula mais de 40 filmes publicitários. Ao longo dos anos, a abordagem da propaganda mudou de acordo com o comportamento da população. Mas o tom agressivo do primeiro vídeo foi fundamental para o sucesso do projeto.
We'll also scan their head to look at whether there's any head injury as well.
They drink too much and then they drive. They smash up their car and the people they're supposed to kill.
You said during your speech that it wasn't all shock and horror, but to make an immediate impact, do you need that? Your first campaign is still very memorable.
Yes, I think our research showed that we needed to jolt people out of their complacency and make them realise the effect of tragedy on our roads and how real that is. So we had to do it.
If you drink, then drive, you're a bloody idiot.
The phrase, if you drink then drive, you're a bloody idiot, is it still a catchy phrase in Australia today?
Yes, that phrase has always been part of Australia, bloody idiot. But in terms of our campaign, people use it a lot, even today, 20 years later. If you drink and drive, you're a bloody idiot.
No Brasil, a combinação de álcool e direção também preocupa. Mesmo depois da chamada Lei Seca, a alteração do Código de Trânsito Brasileiro de 2008, a embriaguez e o excesso de velocidade ainda são os principais fatores que levam a acidentes. Na Austrália, o limite de velocidade também foi tema da campanha contra a violência no trânsito. The campaign has been changing within the last few years. It's not only on the accidents and the shock properly. You have been introducing some new subjects like the importance of slowing down.
Yes, again, we track the evidence in crash data, in people's attitudes, in our market research. We base all our campaigns on evidence, so it depends on the trends that we see. And as we understood that people thought just a little bit over the speed limit was still safe, and we knew that the evidence showed from university research that that is not the case, so we set about educating and informing.
You never know what other drivers might do. That's why for every 5 Ks over the 60 limit, your risk of crashing doubles.
This continuous campaign, it involved not only your department but many institutions of the government. This working together is the only way to get there.
Absolutely, the partnership is critically important. Working with the Justice Department, the Police Department, the Roads Department and us, we do it together. We have a ministerial road safety council so that it is at the highest levels of government and supported our strategy.
Brazil is today considered the fifth country in numbers of deaths in traffic. Do you think the Australian example can be used here, can be adapted to our reality to stop this?
I think you used a very important word, and that's adapting the approach, because it does depend on the culture and the society, and you need your own research to understand what will make an impact on people and how far to go. But I'd be surprised if the shock adverts or the shock campaigns wouldn't have an impact here in a similar way.
Nas estradas brasileiras são registradas mais de 110 mortes todos os dias. Dados do Ministério da Saúde estimam que o gasto anual com acidentes esteja em torno de 40 bilhões de reais. Na Austrália, para reduzir essas despesas, o governo investiu em educação e punição. So it's education, it's punishment, enforcement, but it's also a lot of research.
Absolutely. You cannot do it without being on safe ground with research and then evaluating the campaigns and how effective they are. So it's a continuous learning, and we learn from other areas in the world, including Brazil and including Europe. We have to be open to new ways all the time.
Precisely. How did this initiative start? Back in 1989, what was the scenario you were going through?
Well, I think there were a lot of very grisly deaths and accidents that shocked people, saying, what can we do to stop this? So there was shock about the deaths that were happening, and the government realised that something different had to be done. And fortunately, TAC came up with the ideas and the government backed it.
Do the numbers of deaths and accidents keep decreasing nowadays?
We certainly had a reduction in our deaths. We are not getting reductions in our serious injuries, but the level of seriousness has dropped, partly because of the technology in cars, airbags, etc. So the extent of injury has fallen, definitely.
And advising young people is very important. You have also invested on that.
We invest heavily in supporting young people, helping them understand the risks and the impacts. We do that through their teenage years, and we do it through a graduated licensing system which restricts the number of passengers they can carry and does not accept any alcohol in their blood.
Nos últimos anos, a campanha australiana promoveu projetos para envolver os jovens e se dedicou às mídias sociais. A política de tolerância zero ao álcool é aplicada até os 25 anos de idade. Do you think the no tolerance is the way to go?
I think in the early years of driving, most definitely, because it is so easy for young people to not realise what it means to skid, what it means to take your eye off the road at speed, and it's absolutely the critical time for them to learn. So yes, it's a great investment.
Most accidents from your data in Australia kill drivers and happen in crashes, but also pedestrians and bicycles have been affected. How much are these numbers impacting your campaigns?
The pedestrians and cyclists and motorbike riders have increased in the percentage of road deaths, although pedestrians and cyclists are still below 5%. Motorcyclists are up to around 30% of all fatalities, so it's an area we have to focus on.
Traffic is pretty much a global problem. There are too many cars in most of the cities. Most of them are driving a single person. Do you think the solution is less cars, less traffic, less speed, or alternative ways of transportation?
I think, as always, there is not one best way. I think we need better public transportation, we need restrictions on cars in cities like London, Singapore, we need congestion taxes, we need a variety of mechanisms to support alternative methods of transportation and encourage people to use public transport for peak hours, working hours. But, you know, the biggest number of journeys is actually at the weekends with parents in Australia, with parents taking children to sporting events and other activities. That's where most of the kilometres are travelled, ironically.
Sometimes everything is wrong. We will catch you.
So finally, what is your message to Brazil, to Porto Alegre, in terms of taking the example from Australia?
I'd encourage people in Brazil to adopt some of our ideas to make a real impact on road trauma in Brazil, but to do the research and adapt it for your own communities.
To use the words you used on your speech, have the courage to make some change.
Definitely have courage to make change and make a difference.
Thank you so much for your interview.
Thank you, it's a pleasure to be here.
O Jornal da Câmara de hoje termina aqui. Eu quero agradecer também a sua audiência. A gente se vê na próxima edição. Até lá!